Malpani. Ashish is an Indian-American freelancer and blogger. Born in Sangamer, a small town in rural India, he spent much of his adult life in Austin, Texas. A technology product marketer by trade, Ashish earned his MSc from Purdue University and MBA from the University of Texas. Ashish fell in love with reading and traveling at a young age. As a kid, he had two dreams in life: to write a novel and to travel around the world. 38 countries and counting, Ashish has explored various cultures and captured the world through the lens of his camera with his wife, Samta, and his son, Aya. Sorry. Please join me in welcoming Ashish.
Thank you, Becky. So, I'm going to read from my novel. It's called 10 Days in October. This is in fact based in my hometown of Sangamner. And it's inspired by a true story that happened around the town. So it's a crime fiction that's kind of unfolds over 10 days in October. And then if you, last month, so there are 9 days where it's called Navratri, which is where the Hindus worship female goddess form for the 9 days. And the 10th day is when the demon Ravana was killed by Rama. So those are kind of, that's the context and over which the story takes place. So the novel starts day 1 at 5 a.m. Jai Jai Maharashtra Maza, Garza Maharashtra Maza. The cell phone rang, piercing through the dark silence. It was set to the popular Marathi song praising the state of Maharashtra. Inspector Shivaji Chavan was forced to open his eyes. He stretched his arm out and picked up the phone from his side table and glanced at the screen. It was Head Constable Kadam calling him at just past 5 in the morning. Shiv, pick up the phone and go outside if you have to talk, his wife Madhuri said in an annoyed voice and rolled to her side with closed eyes. Chavan picked up the phone as he stepped out of the room. Kadam, what happened? Do you know what time is it? Chavan almost yelled in the phone. Head Constable Kadam was the only one who got some respect from Chavan and no curse word. I'm sorry, Sahib, but the matter is such that I had to wake you up. Sahib, the owner of Kokade Jewelers, Anil Kokade, has committed suicide publicly. He was found hanging from a tree on the banks of Pravra River. I don't have all the details, but I'm on my way to the crime scene. I'll call you again when I get there. It seems that the crowd has started to gather around. Please come as soon as you can. Chavan put the phone down and walked back to the bedroom with a big yawn. As he stretched his hand, he looked out of the window from his room. It was a dark October morning. A dry, cold breeze was blowing through the open window of his third-floor apartment. The breeze rattled the dry leaves on the banyan tree outside and gave it a spooky look. Chavan looked away in the dark for a minute and turned his eyes inside the room. There were still boxes on the floor stacked against the west wall. It wasn't even a week since his wife Madhuri and son Adi had moved to Sangamner. The 3-bedroom apartment was a temporary housing till his bungalow was getting ready. Allahu Akbar, the early morning azan, the Muslim call to prayer from nearby mosque, broke Chavan's chain of thought. He saw that Madhuri was asleep again and envied her because she could sleep like a baby with no worries hanging over her head. He slowly kissed her on the forehead. Madhuri, please wake up. Please make me some chai. I have to leave for an urgent matter. Chavan's day could never start without a strong cup of chai. Madhuri opened her eyes, looked at Chavan and closed her eyes again. Hey, please get up and make me some chai. Can you make it yourself? Madhuri was used to Chavan's work style and she knew that she would have to give in, but she tried regardless. Some big shot committed suicide and his body is hanging from a tree. I have to rush to the crime scene, so there is no time, Chavan begged. Why do people have to die in the middle of the night and make everybody else's life miserable? Madhuri complained as she reluctantly got up from the bed to make chai. Chavan rushed to the bathroom with his khaki uniform. In 15 minutes, he was combing his hair. He looked at himself in the mirror. His hair was cut short with some extra length on the top. The hair on the sides had started to turn gray. I'm just 36 and it's already getting gray hair. It looks like the police duty is going to make me go gray way earlier than I had imagined, he thought to himself. He buttoned his police uniform and straightened the 3 stars on his shoulder. 6 years in the police force, he was still fit and far away from getting a cop belly like most other police officers did. Chavan took pride in maintaining his physique and always thought at 5'11" he had an intimidating presence. He wasn't happy that he was forced to miss his morning exercise. He usually spent 45 minutes to an hour exercising in the house with yoga and weights. He also ran in the morning when he could. His self-admiration was interrupted by the knock on the bathroom door. Your chai is ready, Madhuri said, and don't forget it's Navratri. The Hindu festival devoted to goddess Durga starts from today. I want to do the Kalastapna, installation of holy water vessels symbolizing goddess Durga, in the morning and pray to our family goddess. If you can come back before 10 in the morning, we can do it together. Also, don't eat anything outside. I'm going to fast today, but if you get hungry, come home and eat. Okay, madam. Vrat or fasting during Navratri, the festival of 9 nights where goddess Durga is worshipped in different forms, was a norm across India. Although Chavan didn't believe in fasting, he had learned that it wasn't a good idea to argue with Madhuri. So he treated fasting in a way to break from standard patterns and cleanse the body. He quickly moved the comb through his well-groomed mustache and opened the door and glanced at the bedroom. Madhuri was tucked into a warm blanket again. He stepped out of the bedroom into the passage without making a noise. The passage was connected to the living room from the kitchen and to other bedroom doors. Their 7-year-old son Adi was sleeping in his wing. Chavan walked to the kitchen, sat down at the dining table, and started sipping the chai. The phone rang again. What's the situation, Kadam? Sahib, it appears that Anil Kokade hanged himself from a tree near Gangamai Ghat using the rope. Gaikwad is here too. Kadam, block access to the crime scene and ask if anyone has seen anything, and I'm on my way. Chavan tied his shoelaces, put his cap on, pulled the front door slowly and stepped outside. He walked down the stairs of the building, walked towards his favorite bullet motorcycle. Sangamner police station had an SUV, a Mahindra Scorpio, but Chavan believed riding atop a solid cast iron made his stature more imposing. 30 seconds later, he was riding on the streets of Sangamner listening to the thumping sound of the bullet. Chavan was recently promoted to the inspector rank and was handed the responsibility of the whole town along with 80-odd police officers. Sangamner had started to slowly wake up as he rode along. Sangamner was a fast-growing town in Ahmednagar district that got its name because it was situated on the site of confluence of 3 rivers. Pravra was the biggest of the 3 and divided the town in 2 parts. He had just visited the river a few days ago with Madhuri and Adi to visit the Durga temple. Chavan passed overloaded trucks on the highway to reach the old town area known as Bazar Pe. The shop that shared the walls with each other lined up on both sides of the small 2-mile-long road. The stretch made up the old town of business and commerce. In most cases, the owners lived in the quarters behind the shops, and one could only get to the residence using the small doors next to the store entrances or the back doors of the houses. A few shop owners had already started to clean the area of the street in front of their store and sprinkled it with water to keep the dust down. Street dogs were yawning as the water drops landed on them. Milkmen were carrying gallons of milk on their bikes for early morning delivery, and the roadside chaiwalas had started to lighten up their stores. Chavan could hear temple priests reciting morning chants as he passed, and it spread a feeling of new energy in the air. It was almost an hour before sunrise. Haramkhor, what a way to ruin a beautiful morning. Chavan wasn't in the best of the moods as he rode along. He passed through small lanes and got close to the river. He bowed his head as he crossed the Durga temple on his left. The morning prayer had started to temple, praising the goddess. He parked his bullet. As he parked his bullet, Constable Gaikwad came running. Namaskar Sahib, he said with a salute. Chawan liked Gaikwad from the first day they met. Gaikwad was young, and although he lacked the experience in police force, his enthusiasm for the work made it up. He was always eager to take the initiative. Namaskar, where is Kadam? Kadam sir is near the body side. Chawan looked at him and started walking towards the crowd. Gaikwad shouted, "Make way for Sahib, step aside." Chawan recognized some faces in the crowd. They were local businessmen who came for a morning walk to the river. Chawan quickly made his way through. Anil Kokate's lifeless body was hanging by a rope from a thick branch of the tree. His feet were a couple of feet off the ground. Chawan looked at the corpse. Eyes were semi-closed, pupils were fixed and dilated, and about 1/3 of the tongue was protruding. Suicide seemed very plausible based on his experience. Kokate was wearing a half-sleeve shirt, khakis and socks. A pair of sneakers was lying on the ground. There was a small plastic step stool near the tree that appeared to have been used in the suicide. The dry river channel was 10 steps away from the tree. Head Constable Kadam was making notes. Kadam had 30 years of experience in the police force and had worked with various inspectors before. Although he had cob belly that Chawan disliked, his experience and thorough knowledge of procedures made him a valuable asset. Chawan took his phone and took some pictures of the body and the crime scene. He also took out a small notepad and pen that he always carried along everywhere. Who discovered the body? Sahib, police station received a phone call at 4:45 a.m. and they called me right away. We don't know who made the call. All right, Kadam, get 2 witnesses, get them to sign the Panchanama, which is the crime scene report. Prepare the application for the post-mortem and the inquest. I'll sign the form after you're done and take down the body. Kadam took out his handkerchief and bent down to collect the stool and put it in the plastic bag. Just then Chawan yelled, "1 minute, Kadam, keep the stool down." Kadam looked puzzled, but the sense that Chawan had something going on in his mind, and he quietly kept the stool down. Chawan marked the spot where he had found the stool initially and then used his handkerchief and moved the stool right under the branch where the body was hanging. The marked spot was about a yard away. He removed his shoes and kept them aside. With a grunt, he pulled himself up, reached up to the branch from where the body was hanging and kicked the stool. He jumped to the ground and marked where the stool was. It was about a foot closer from the original location. He then kept the stool back and this time kicked the stool standing on the ground. It landed just beyond the first marked spot. Kadam, something is wrong here. For a suicide case, the stool shouldn't be so far from the body. Chawan said with his eyebrows raised as he drew and took notes in his notepad. Kadam knew not to interrupt the thought process of his boss. What really happened here, Mr. Kokate? What is that you are not telling me? Chawan kept thinking as he nodded his head, looking at Kadam and walked towards his bullet. That's the first chapter. And as I said, it's based on a real life story that kind of unfolds towards the end. But yeah, definitely. I mean, if you get a chance to read it, let me know your thoughts, and I would love to hear what you guys think.
Are there any questions? Anyone have a question?
Sure.